Hi there, my friend. Do you sometimes regret not saying no? Or maybe sometimes you feel your clients are demanding too much. In the solopreneur's journey, one of the most powerful and difficult skills is setting boundaries. Not walls, but gates. Not rejection, but protection. You're not just running a business. You are also a human being. Let's explore how to protect your time, your peace, and your energy, so you can serve others without losing yourself. Picture your day like a cup of tea. If you pour it into everyone else's mug without pause, yours will run dry. Boundaries are how we refill that cup. They guard your time, protect your energy, and allow you to serve with joy, not resentment. Without them, burnout sneaks in quietly. Let's learn to notice and prevent that before it spills over. Let's look at what happens when boundaries are missing. First, constant interruptions. When people don't know when you're available, they assume you're always available. Messages come at all hours, and your day gets chopped into fragments. You can't focus, and your work suffers. Second, unclear expectations. If you haven't defined what's included, how you work, or when you deliver, the client fills in the blanks, and usually they expect more than you intended to give. Not because they're demanding, but because they simply don't know where the lines are. And third, emotional exhaustion. You start feeling like you're always behind, always being pulled in different directions. Even simple requests feel heavy. That's not laziness. That's boundary fatigue. Your energy leaks out because there's no container to hold it. Boundaries are how we stop the leaks. They don't push people away. They protect your ability to show up fully. Think of a boundary like a garden fence. It's not there to keep people away. It's there to show where the flowers grow and where not to tread. Healthy boundaries are simple, calm, and consistent. They sound like this. I don't take meetings after 6 p.m. Revisions are limited to 2 rounds. This is how we'll communicate. You can say these things calmly, kindly, but firmly. The key is to say them before there's a problem and to stand by them when one arrives. Some solopreneurs fear that boundaries will make them look unfriendly or hard to work with, but the opposite is true. It makes you easy to rely on. Clients want clarity. They want to know what's expected, when to expect it, and how things flow. Clear boundaries create trust. It also shows that you are professional and know how to manage yourself and your projects. They also create clarity for all parties on how they will work together. Everyone feels safer in the working relationship with clear boundaries. Boundaries are a gift. Every garden needs good soil, and for boundaries, that soil is self-awareness. Ask yourself, what keeps me well? What drains me fast? Is it back-to-back meetings, weekend calls? Start by identifying your deal breakers, your non-negotiables. These are your roots. Let's water them first. A solopreneur's time is sacred. Define your working hours like you'd define the open and close of a shop. Just like a shop owner sets the open and close hours without apology, so can you. And once you set them, communicate them with confidence. When people know your schedule, they start respecting it. But it begins with you. Creativity doesn't bloom in chaos. It needs quiet soil. Protect blocks of time in your week for deep, focused work, the kind that fills you up. Turn off distractions. Let clients know that rush jobs are rare and come with a premium. Your mind is a temple. Guard its silence. You'll also need to be very clear in your offers and contracts. Imagine handing someone a beautifully wrapped gift, only for them to ask, "But is there more inside?" Clarity in your offers prevents confusion and resentment. Spell out what's included, mention what's extra, and don't be afraid to say, "That's not part of this package." Clear limits show respect for both of you. Are you dealing with endless messages on 5 platforms? That's a recipe for burnout. If your client can reach you on WhatsApp, email, Instagram DMs, and smoke signals, you've got a boundary leak. Choose your main channel. Let them know when and how you respond. You're not a hotline, you're a professional, and professionals reply with rhythm, not reactivity. Here is a very useful tip for you, one that I noticed many successful solopreneurs do. They use onboarding guides for their clients. When you bring on a new client, hand them a short guide, just a page or 2. Here's how I work. Here's when I'm available. Here's what to expect. Simple, warm, clear. It's not just about process. It's about showing that you're thoughtful, prepared, and in control. That's powerful. No is a full sentence, but you can still say it with grace. You're not rejecting the person, you're protecting the relationship. Try, "That's not something I offer, but here's what I can do." Or, "I'm not available right now, but I'll circle back next month." You're not closing a door, you're pointing to a better one. Follow these 3 rules when you need to say no. First, be direct but not rude. Second, always try to offer an alternative that is reasonable and doable for you. And lastly, do not try to explain your no. It can easily signal hesitation. Just say no and offer the alternative. It's easy to set a boundary, and just as easy to ignore it. But every time you bend just this once, you teach people that your boundaries are optional. Instead, stand gently firm. Your policies aren't rules to punish. They're agreements that keep things flowing smoothly. And when you hold to them, others will too. Even the best fences need repair now and then. If a client starts calling late, or you notice projects expanding without conversation, that's your sign. Pause. Revisit the agreement. Reset the tone. You can always say, "Let's check in on how we're working together." Boundaries don't have to be fixed. They just need to be healthy. A good practical thing to do is to practice saying no. Write down constructive ways of saying no and practice saying them or typing them in emails. Here are some examples. "Here's how I work. I'm not available for that, but that's outside the scope." In the moment, it's hard to speak clearly, especially when your body says yes, but your heart says no. That's why you prepare scripts. Think of them like stones in your pocket, ready when you need grounding. Practice them aloud. The more you use them, the easier they flow, and soon they become part of your natural rhythm. We often set better boundaries with others than we do with ourselves, but self-boundaries are the roots of all the rest. Promise yourself, no work after a certain hour. Protect your lunch break. Take full weekends when you can. You're not lazy. You're lasting. That's what sustainability really means. How do you know your boundaries are slipping? You feel it. That heavy sigh before opening an email. That tiny dread when your phone lights up. These are your signals. They don't mean you've failed, just that it's time to pause, reflect, and realign. Your discomfort is wisdom in disguise. I really want you to consider this. Your boundaries build a better brand. Boundaries aren't just personal, they're part of your brand. When you're clear, grounded, and consistent, clients know they're in good hands. You attract people who respect your rhythm. And that creates better work, better outcomes, and better referrals. Boundaries don't limit your brand, they define it. When you set a boundary, do it with respect. Speak as you'd want to be spoken to. And don't forget, your clients have boundaries too. Ask what works for them. Honor their time and energy. Boundaries are not about control. They're about care. Mutual respect is where real trust grows. Let's pause here and take it in. Boundaries aren't about saying no to people. They're about saying yes to your best work, your health, and your peace. They're not cold. They're kind. A wise solopreneur sets boundaries not to push people away, but to stay grounded in service. Walk forward with clarity, and the right people will walk with you.